that underlying, like, where did this toxicity come from? It was always there. We just never spent enough time together for it to manifest fully. Hi, I'm Kate, and welcome to Always Tuck and Roll, where we discuss life, the universe, autism, and anything else that decides to come out of my head. Because life is random, and we shouldn't limit ourselves to topics of discussion. And if you have a specific topic you would like to discuss, put it in the comments. Send me an email. I will hopefully remember to check my email and respond accordingly. I will definitely check the comments, though. If you are returning to the channel, thank you for not being scared off. I know that I have that tendency to do that sometimes. Also, please note, new microphone. We should have much better sound quality going forward. Not that it was terrible before, but I was realizing there was a feedback noise there was nothing I could do about. And also, I don't know how to do that. I don't think I've got software capable of that. So here we are, new microphone, got headphones, we'll see. If you are new to the channel, welcome. So glad to have you here. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe, comments. Any and all interaction is wonderful for the algorithm. These days I hear nothing but complaints about the algorithm. I don't know how to make it happy, but I also haven't tried that hard either. But if you want to help me out, I would love that, so thank you in advance. So, I had a bit of a revelation this morning while doom scrolling Reddit, of all things, so I thought it might be interesting to talk about that. So it was a Am I the A-hole post from a woman with a disability who wanted to know if she was the a-hole for leaving her boyfriend at his family's house because they would not stop making fun of her disability. Right off the top, I'm going to say, no, she is not the a-hole. I mean, but that's obvious, and that's not a revelation. Lots of people are ableist jerks. And making fun of people's disabilities, it's not cool. And it's never actually funny. I mean, I do a lot of self-deprecating humor, and yeah, if she had been cracking jokes about her disability, which, for the record, it's, she had a prematurely, one of her hands stopped growing prematurely, and it is much smaller than the other, was how she described it. She said it was like a 5-year-old sand on an adult body. Which happens. And there's nothing wrong with that. But making fun of that is wrong. So, naturally, everyone in the comments was like, you're not the a-hole. He's the a-hole. His family is the a-hole. Like, break up with him. Which, you don't want to we don't know their relationship, but if he's letting this happen, because she was like, everything's been perfect except for this. Well, if he's not defending you against his family, and his family is going after a disability, something that you cannot change about yourself, then this is not a good relationship to stay in. I'll be perfectly honest, right there. And so people said that in droves. But one of the other interesting things that came about this was women with various disabilities, all different types, talking about their experiences with their partners, like what an actual nurturing, healthy, balanced relationship is. Or even some of them, what actual jokes they find funny about their disabilities, because again, self-deprecating humor is everyone's favorite coping mechanism. I have short jokes for days. Anyway, but so one of the within that thread, she started responding to people, and she commented that she'd had a boyfriend before this, and he did nothing but yell at her for not tying her shoes fast enough, or not buttoning her shirts fast enough, etc. Anything that, dexterity. My dexterity is not that great most days, so I can only imagine. So what struck me was when she finally really thought about it and compared, she's like, I guess I didn't notice that this guy, the guy I'm currently dating, was being mean because he was being quiet mean. She thought she had found a good one because he wasn't yelling at her. And that's what struck a chord, the whole concept of quiet mean. Because, so my college boyfriend and I were together for like 6 years. And we were long distance for like 5 of those years, 4.5. And when we moved in together, like, things were fine, but they were also not fine. And they got kind of toxic, which neither of us was in a good place emotionally. It was 2008. I couldn't find a job. We were living off of his doctoral stipend. I was in autistic burnout and didn't know it. That was the first time I thought that I was having a nervous breakdown, realistically. But the economy had shut down. There was no jobs for anyone. It was a really hard time to be on your own for the first time, and I was living in a city for the first time. So yeah, I was probably not a great person to live with, but I was also doing my best. My absolute best. And he was no prize to live with either. Like, he was also adapting to a lot of changes. But throughout our whole relationship, we saw each other 1 to 2 weekends a month, so everything was like fine. Unless we spent a week together, and then it always got weird and not great towards the end. And there was always a part of me that was like, well, with my next boyfriend, which for 6 years having that, well, in the future, but not knowing, but being fine with what I was doing. It wasn't a bad relationship. It wasn't truly unhealthy in any way, shape, or form. It got unhealthy towards the end. But where this story intersects, at least in my mind, with the Reddit story, was when the first time anyone posed the "Are you autistic?" question to me, he was there. He was actually the one who then looked at my roommate's textbook and was like, oh, you should read this. This is you. You are in this book. And it was like, oh yeah, I am in this book. And all 3 of us just kind of laughed it off, like, well, yeah, no, maybe. But didn't really do it. But then it became a joke to him. If I screwed up, it was like, you're just autistic. But like, he meant it as an insult. And at the time, I still wasn't acknowledging that, yeah, I was probably autistic. I was 20 when that started, and it took until I was 38 to get diagnosed. So, because I am a level 10 masker, or I used to be. I'm actually not that good at it anymore. Because it's not healthy. Anyway, but so, even with the knowledge that I could potentially be autistic, I would get yelled at for having panic attacks. I would get yelled at for, like, in public. And I would get yelled at for correcting him if he was wrong about something. Because, ooh, double engineering major over there, the dual BA person over there can't possibly know more than the person with 2 engineering degrees. Seriously. And just little things like that, or if we went to a function, I'd get a lecture for not reading the room if I had done anything that he perceived as wrong. Which, yeah, probably. I am a social disaster because I don't know what I'm doing, and I have a hard time reading a room. I don't know what genre the room is going to be. I don't know what to expect, and if I don't know the people, I'm certainly not going to be able to read them at all. I barely can read the people I know. So, the concept of quiet mean, and I'm not describing my ex as quiet right now, but he was quietly mean about a lot of things, and I never really thought about it. And I'm beginning to realize that a lot of that underlying, like, where did this toxicity come from? It was always there. We just never spent enough time together for it to manifest fully and in a way that I was able to recognize was bad. Because he wasn't, like, outwardly insulting me all the time. He wasn't hitting me. There were no, like, blatant signs of abuse. This was not healthy, but it wasn't abusive. Not really, but he was mean. And yet he came from a background with a very abusive alcoholic father who actually used to put Frank's Red Hot in my food, and that is abuse. And a mom who was very disaffected and had moved on with her second family and was just embracing anything else. Complicated family dynamic that I did not really understand nor truly involve myself in. I came from such a normal family that I didn't know what to do with all that. But again, I was like 18 to 22, or 17 realistically, 17 to 22 during all of this. So a lot of life learning happens in that age group. So, you know, I was still learning how to be a person. And I'm still learning how to be a person. But my current partner has put up with a lot in the almost 8 years we have been together. But we've traveled together. We've lived together for 6 years. And every moment has been so much better than any of those moments I had in college or right after. Even when I am a basket case and I am like shutting down or freaking out for no reason, I have a calming, soothing, gentle person just there supporting me and helping me be the best that I can be. And like I had thought that was the treatment I was getting from my college boyfriend because he was supportive. Except for when he wasn't supportive. But Pete is always supportive. And I'm not comparing the two beyond just noticing the pattern of treatment. Because, yeah, Pete has never yelled at me for having a panic attack, no matter how ill-timed it is. And yeah, maybe I'm better at calling out stuff anytime I've been like, why would you say that now? Now is not the time. Whereas I didn't have the gumption to say that when I was, 19. But it's still like a night and day situation. And it kind of blows my mind that here I am. It's been like 16 years since that old relationship ended. Yeah, because it's like 2009. Side note, how is 2009 16 years ago? That's crazy. I mean, I get that I just had my high school reunion, or allegedly there was a high school reunion that I wasn't invited to 2 years ago, but like, where does the time go, man? Weird. Anyway. It's like the second revelation I've had this week over someone saying something on Reddit and me being like, oh, that does make sense. It really does. Because someone had also, I guess in the same vein, a woman with autism was talking about escaping a cult, and she had talked about how she had been in previous abusive situations, and she always knows the signs and she knows what to look for. And I go into the situations the same way because I have unfortunately suffered a lot of abuse. And she said that when she got involved in this group, because the MO wasn't exactly the same as other abusive people, she didn't notice that it was abuse. And yeah, no, I actually realized that, most of my abuse has actually been at the hands of employers. And not just because the autistic are very easy to take advantage of in the workplace, but yeah, they are. And it happens to me every time I am employed. I didn't notice at my last job that was not, I let a lot of things slide that I shouldn't have for far too long. And I do find that interesting because I wasn't, I had, before I started working there, I had just quit a very abusive boss. And I'd had abusive bosses before that too. So because that's how I was able to quit the previous one so quickly, because I was like, oh no, I know how this song goes and I do not like it, and I am worth more than that. So just, life is about pattern recognition, but I'm not entirely sure that you can look for patterns in people, right? Between significant others, employers, whatnot, but because patterns don't necessarily match identically, it's very easy to miss. Probably for everyone, but especially when you're autistic. I don't know what my ultimate point here is, but evaluate things. If something feels off, if you are in a situation, be it a work situation or a relationship, any type of relationship, romantic or otherwise, if you are in a situation and you start to feel red flags or like a tingle that something's off, evaluate. Don't just go through the patterns that you're aware of. Look at the bigger picture too. Don't just concentrate on that one person. Concentrate on the whole picture to see what else is going on, if anything else is going on. Because I can be really introspective, but if I think I know what's going on, then I'm just going to charge ahead at my own detriment, which is what kept me at my last job for probably a year or two longer than I should have been there, realistically. I hope that if you are in a situation that you are finding yourself uncomfortable in, you have the time and bandwidth to evaluate why you feel uncomfortable and what can be done to mitigate that. And if there's someone who is mistreating you, but you're not sure, really think about what they're saying. They may say, "Oh, I'm just kidding." That does not make it a joke, just because they are kidding. And are they? Why do they feel the need to make such mean jokes? And this is really rich coming from me because I can be meaner than I understand that I am being. I am not perfect. And I have definitely said some things that I meant to be funny and weren't funny. But I don't think that's what's happening here. I think that this is just a family being mean because they are ableist and mean. And I think that boyfriend is ableist and mean too. And I think my ex was ableist and mean. And I think my former employers were ableist and mean. But there are good people in the world out there. We just have to find them. And when we do find them, let's embrace the good and don't ignore the red flags. If you can mitigate them, great. If you can't, walk away. Well, I hope any of this made sense because it mostly does to me. It might to you if I edited this well. Who knows? We'll find out. If you have any comments, questions, stories you want to tell, situations where someone was quietly mean and you didn't realize it, I would love to hear it. Let me know in the chat. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And don't forget to always tuck and roll.